Welcome to Talking Halos. Derek Ciapola with my co-hosts, our partners in crime, Jared Timms and Nate Green, for our, I guess it's our Christmas edition, guys. Our Christmas edition of the Talking Halos podcast. And we're here answering some fan questions today. First things first, it's Christmas. Jared, what do you want for Christmas this year?
Oh man. I want Mike Trout and Anthony Rendon to be healthy.
You're asking for Christmas, not miracles.
I mean,
Maybe
miracles,
Christmas miracle?
I guess he's
miracles,
getting a unicorn for Christmas with
miracles do happen
that.
sometimes. So that's what I want. Give me a healthy Mike Trout and a healthy Anthony Rendon.
Nate Green.
I want a confident roster on the field. I don't think that's going to happen either. Again, I guess I could ask for a unicorn or that, and I think there's more likely of me getting a unicorn.
Okay. And me, what I want for Christmas, it's kind of like the unicorn. I want a winning season. Can I get 82 wins? The
So you want a
bars
blue
dropped
or
that low.
purple unicorn?
The bars dropped that. But I'm serious. I mean, I don't mean to be negative at all. I mean, I really just want a winning season at this point. Just give me a winning season. That's a start, right? So there we go. All right, guys, if we're ready to go, get some fan questions. But the first thing that goes with those fans is ESPN named the Angels the most frustrated fan base in baseball. My response is no. Are you serious? I could not see that one coming. But Nate, I know you could. Your thoughts on being named the most famous or most frustrated fan base in baseball?
Not really surprised with some of the teams on on this list, honestly. Um, some of the things that they've done has been very frustrating. I mean, we've had the sell the team Artie chance. We've had Artie say he was going to sell the team and didn't. We've had, you know, chance to trade Shohei Ohtani, didn't. I don't know. There's been so many things over the last couple of years of issues with this franchise, and it's like real shocking that a big market team that hasn't had a winning record in 10 years is number one on this list.
Jared,
Just by math standards, if the Angels fan base is the most frustrated fan base in all of baseball, does that make Nate the most frustrated fan in all of baseball?
No, there's somebody out there
No.
more
There's
frustrated than
somebody
I am.
more frustrated than you.
I could
Okay.
There's
think
got to
of.
be.
That's fair. I mean, yeah, you look at this list, and I mean, one common denominator here is winning cures a lot. I mean, there are some teams on here that have won. You look at the Mariners, that have won a little bit in the past. I mean, they made it to the playoffs the first time in 20 plus years. St. Louis has been on the list. I'm not sure why they are. They got some of the best fans in all of baseball. Um, but everybody else on this list is, teams that haven't won. It even almost made to the playoffs in quite some time, So yeah, it's tough for sure. I'm just scrolling through the Toronto Blue Jays. I understand why they are. I mean, been in on three of the best players in baseball and just haven't been able to pull the trigger. I mean, Shohei Ohtani was on a flight to Toronto last year, before he found his way to Los Angeles. So yeah, I'm not surprised. At the end of the day, the common denominator is winning. Winning cures a lot. I mean, if the Angels can find a way to win some more ball games and be competitive, then maybe they won't be the most frustrated fan base in all of baseball. But I mean, right now it's tough. I mean, I remember 10 or 15, 20 years ago at this point that the Angels were the best organization in all of sports. I mean, ESPN ranked them there, and now it's the most frustrated fan base in all of baseball. So yeah, it's definitely tough, and I'd be lying to you if you said I wasn't frustrated. I'm sure a lot of Angels fans are, but yeah, winning cures a lot, and that's what this list tells me. Once you start winning, fans aren't as frustrated.
You just made a wonderful point. I'm not even sure if you realize it.
What I say?
Is that you know I mean, I lived through before the World Series years, and there were some lean years, there were some bad luck years. Some folks would have called the team cursed or underachieving. And then you went through about 12 years of success, 13 years of success. And once you tasted that, and that's where the frustration comes in. You know what the organization is capable of. You've been there, you've lived through it, and now you see what it's become. And now you're going to be forever known as the organization that wasted Mike Trout, quote unquote, or wasted Shohei Ohtani, two of the best players of the era. And that's sort of the frustrating part. Winning cures a lot. This is still a bitter pill to swallow. So Can they move forward from there? I hope so. I mean, eventually you will. Eventually, every organization figures it out at some point. The question is when. That's the big thing. All right. So fan questions. This is from Cade O'Connell on X. What about Lane Thomas as an option for center field this year? I know he's a righty bat, but he's a lot cheaper than Belly, of course, who is now a Yankee, I believe. Nate, what about Lane Thomas?
Um, yeah, I mean, he plays center field a little bit. I don't see Cleveland moving him now. I think Cleveland kind of has moved their expensive guys. Josh Naylor just moved to Arizona. I think they're in a spot where they're trying to build off what they did last year. They're trying to make the team better. They've moved Jimenez and they've moved Naylor. So I think Thomas was in that mix of guys, but I don't think they're going to move him anymore. I think the Angels' answer right now would be Austin Hayes, which would be basically the same player as Lane Thomas. Honestly, subpar in the outfield, good enough center fielder, not an excellent center fielder, average hitter, not a lot of pop, hit towards the bottom of the order. Like that. That's what you're going to look for. With what's left in the center field market, there's not a lot.
Jared?
Yeah, I mean, just looking through some of Lane Thomas's stats. I mean, he can play all three outfield positions. He reminds me a lot of like a lesser defensive Mickey Moniak. In my opinion, and Angels have Mickey Moniak. So yeah, I'm for it. Somebody that can play all three outfield positions. Somebody that's going to hit a little bit for you. Average hitter. I mean, he has the ability to be an above average hitter. It just sounds a lot like Mickey Moniak with less defense for me. And at the moment, I don't think the Angels need another Mickey Moniak. I think they need to find a way to get a lot better than Mickey Moniak again. So, and I know that a lot of fans are going to point that Mickey Moniak hasn't been the best by any means, and he hasn't even been an average hitter. But I mean, I think that that's kind of what you're hoping for with Mickey Moniak is kind of a Lane Thompson kind of outcome. So, if it means the Angels make a move, then sure. Like they think they get a little better from it, sure. But I don't think the Angels get better by bringing in Lane Thomas. I don't. So I'm
I mean,
gonna pass on Lane Thomas.
I'm gonna go back though, just to what Nate was saying. I think, and Lane Thomas it's kind of a moot point because the Guardians aren't moving him. I'm here in Ohio. I know I kind of see what they're doing up there, and he's right. They are building for next year. He is a perfect fit for what they want to do there. They're not moving him, so it's kind of a moot point. But there is another former center fielder out there for the Angels, at least according to Halo Dad. Halo Dad and Blue Sky asks, what would a Brandon Marsh to the Angels look like? Would it be something the Halos should do? Can the Halos sign Carlos Estevez? Jared?
Let's start with Carlos Estevez. I think he's going to cost a little too much for me. I wouldn't pay that much for a back end reliever because he's going to get closer money, and I don't think he's a true closer. I mean, we saw it in Anaheim. I think he was a good closer, but I don't think he's a true closer. He's going to get paid probably 15, maybe more than that, 20 mil. Maybe not 20 mil, probably about 15 million a year, and that's a lot for me. So I'm going to pass on again Carlos Estevez, even though he does make the bullpen better. I just think that you can do more with that 15 million or whatever he's going to get. He's very good in the clubhouse, though. I'll say that. So if the Angels do bring him back, that's exciting for sure because he makes the team better. I don't know if I'm in on the price. Brandon Marsh, that's very interesting. I'll say that I don't think I would have thought the Angels trading back Brandon Marsh, but it sounds like the Phillies are kind of done. And it sounds like they are good in the outfield. Looks like they're going to run with Marsh, Castellanos, and who else did they just get?
Kepler.
Kepler. That's what it sounds like to me. Brandon Marsh definitely fits the mold though for sure. It's somebody that can play multiple outfield positions. We saw it in Anaheim. Someone that's gonna. I mean, his last 2 years in Philly, he's been an above average hitter, above average defender. But it would take a lot to get him. I mean, he's not a free agent until 2028. So you have another 3-4 years with Brandon Marsh, which is really cool. But it would take quite a bit. I mean, probably two top five prospects in the Angels org. And I don't think the Phillies are gonna would actually move that route of going prospects. I think they want some pieces that are gonna help contribute at the major league level because I mean, they're a playoff team. They're pushing the playoffs. So, yeah, I don't see them getting rid of Brandon Marsh. He definitely checks a lot of boxes. And when he's a free agent in 2028, I mean, maybe the Angels circle back around and check it out because at that point he's 31, 30-ish at that point. So we'll kind of wait and see. But I just don't see it happening right now, unfortunately. I'm for it if the Angels can pull it off, but I think it would take a lot. And I don't think the Phillies are willing to move Brandon Marsh right now.
Nate.
Yeah, I don't think the Phillies even entertain this offer right now. I think they're kind of building for a World Series championship is what it looks like, and Brandon Marsh is kind of the guy that they want in center field right now, especially with two very very bad defenders if they run Schwarber and Castellanos out there at the same time, which they could do every now and then. So I don't think that this happens. I obviously, yeah, he would make the Angels better, but the Phillies aren't in the business of trying to move Brandon Marsh right now. Carlos Estevez, there's no such thing as closers in Jared's mind, so it's odd that he brings up closers, but whatever. Um, yeah, he's going to make way too much money for me. I think there are guys that you can go get. Jose Leclerc from Texas is a free agent. I think Seawald from Arizona is a free agent. There's still some guys out there that can do what Carlos Estevez did for us, pitch in the seventh, eighth, ninth inning, get some big outs, and will not cost $15 million. I think Leclerc is probably going to be like somewhere in that 5 to 8 mil, which is kind of what Estevez signed for the first time, the 8.5. You could probably get Seawald for like 4.5 based off his year last year, and we've seen how good he could be and how bad he could be. I mean, you might as well roll the dice on him being really good and then trading him at the deadline if you're not in it, or if he is really good and you are really good, then keep winning. So I think there are a lot of other options out there that are cheaper and yeah, cheaper options.
Paul Sewell's my pick there. I'm not a fan of Leclerc at all. Too inconsistent, far more inconsistent. Sewell's had some injury problems, but when he's pitching well, he's pitching well. So I go with him. He's much more affordable, anyways. In terms of Brandon Marsh, pipe dream. Kind of like the same for Lane Thomas, pipe dream. And I prefer at this point to be a little more realistic in that respect. Think outside the box is a good thing, but it's just not going to happen now. From Bad Ace 3100 on YouTube. And this might take the whole rest of the podcast. Since talking about the draft and signing free agents with qualifying offer and losing a draft pick, can the Angels keep that money in their draft money, to use for full slot, or do they lose the pick and the money? Cause with second pick, I could see them trying to go full slot 1 to 4 and draft all college players to make an impact in the minors. Um, hmm. Jared, I'm just gonna sit back and let you go to work on this one.
Yeah, great questions here. I'm enjoying this. First part, if they do sign somebody with a QO, they lose the draft pick, they lose the money, they don't get to keep that money, unfortunately. And second comp two pick is probably comp two is probably in that $1 million range, maybe $1.5 million range, depending on where it's at, or the Angels second rounders, I think in that 1.5, maybe $2 million range, depending on what's going on there. So if you're willing to, I don't know if there's anybody on the market anymore that you can say like, hey, I want to, give up that $2 million, that player. But I mean, this might be the year to do it. You have about $10 million to spend at the top now. So it's kind of up in the air on what the Angels want to do. We're going to discuss it a lot throughout the season. I'll tell you that. There's going to be a lot of things going back and forth. Do the Angels under slot? Do they slot? Do they go over slot? Like just terms you're going to have to probably get used to. As far as picking college 1 through 4, I mean, if history repeats itself, the Angels will probably go college 1 through 10, in that side of stuff because that's kind of how they work. Now, one thing a lot of people don't realize, don't remember is picks 8, 9, and 10. A lot of times they take, and you can see this not just like 8, 9, 10, you can see it within the entire first 10 picks. If you pick a college senior, you can give them, the bare minimum of $10,000 to sign and save that slot value, save that slot money. So let's say it's $1 million slot bonus. The Angels sign somebody at $10,000. They have $990,000 to work with and spread out um, throughout the rest of the draft. So there's a lot. It isn't, and a lot of people forget this. Like, it's not just pick the best player. Money has a lot to do with it. Remember, the Angels have taken a lot of over slots on day two with that 11th round pick or 11th overall pick, or day three. They're changing the draft up with that 11th round pick, or sooner or later. They do like to overslot those high schoolers. They did with Dylan Jordan, Caden Dana, Mason Albright. I mean, they've done it a lot. Barrett Kent. Any high schooler that they've taken has really kind of been that over slot, except for last year. They took Manny's kid. They took a couple other high schoolers that are very, very interesting. So, yeah, reminder 8, 9, and 10. They usually take those college seniors that they give the $10,000 to. And then if they sign somebody with a QO, they lose the pick, they lose the money attached with that as well. I don't see that happening this year. They just have too much money. This is a draft that can really turn an organization around, turn a farm system around for sure. And I think the Angels will definitely view any options to do that. Did I miss anything on that note? I might have. I don't think I did.
No pressure, by the way, on the Angels at all for this, because I mean, this is their
I mean, so when you talk about pressure, like the real pressure is that number one overall pick. You have to hit with that one overall pick. And if who's number one overall pick? Washington. If Washington decides to go under slot and do something weird, Angels just take the best college guy available. The pressure then becomes, I mean, what if they take what if the Nationals take Jace Laviolette 1-1? And it's like, oh, there might not be a number two guy, and Ethan Holiday's sitting there. Do you take Ethan Holiday? That's when the pressure starts coming in. So right now, I think all the pressure's on that number one overall pick. The Angels are just kind of sitting back and seeing what's going to happen here in the next, what do we got, 6 months until the draft. So yeah, I think right now all the pressure is on Washington. But yes, you definitely want to hit with, if you're a first three overall pick, you want them to be a contributing major leaguer to some degree, not just what the Angels have brought up in the past 10 years, the Matt Thices, the Taylor Wards. I mean, contributors, yes, but guys that, I mean, we're talking all stars, right? We're talking the Dylan Cruz, we're talking the Paul Skeens, we're talking the Jackson Holidays, the Bobby Witts. Like, that's what you need. That's what you need to hit with one of these picks. Wyatt Langford, you can't settle with another Taylor Ward with that number two pick. You can't settle with another Matt Thice with that number two pick. You need to hit, and you need to hit an all star.
right.
Did I get it? Am I good?
Yeah, and there's really not that many qualifying offer guys left that would really make sense for the Angels. I mean, Santander's a corner guy, Teoscar's a corner guy. They probably have too many corner outfielders. Pavetta, not good enough to waste a. We've said that before, and they've still wasted draft picks on guys that we didn't think were good enough. Pete, probably not going to go the first base route either. So then you have Bregman and Corbin Burns would be the two guys. Would you do it for Corbin Burns if the money made sense? Sure. But the money's got to really make sense. There was a report out today about $40 million for him, 245, something like that. So if that's it, then I don't think it's going to make sense. But
And
they
his underlying hood numbers this year were on a downturn too. So
so they and then yeah, you have Bregman, which we've talked about Arenado, we've talked about some other third baseman. I don't think the Angels are going to go out and spend big on a third baseman right now. So there's really only like one or two guys that would even make sense. And I think if the Angels are going to go starting pitching, if they continue to roll in the starting pitching market, there are some other guys that can get it done without using a qualifying offer on. I think that for sure they're probably going to use pick one on a college guy because that's just how they roll. Wouldn't be shocked if it's pick 2, 3, 4, 5, all the way through 10, like Jared said. But we'll just have to kind of wait and see with how this regime works through the draft. I mean, it's December 23rd, and we still got all the way till the All-Star break before the draft starts. So we got a long, long time.
I mean, this is really Perry's chance. When Perry was brought over from Atlanta, he had a reputation for his work in the draft and building organizations. Well, this is it, man. This is you're the number two pick in the draft. You've got You've got a little bit of money to play with for it. I mean, this is his shot, so he can't mess this up. I mean, you can mess it up, but I'm saying you can't mess this up. Don't, get your guy. And we're talking about qualifying hours, under qualifying hours. If your guy is Chase Lavalette and he's there at number two, get him, pay him. If that's your guy, you just go get him at this point. Don't 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 play cutesy anymore. Just go get your guy. All right. Closing thoughts, guys.
Yeah, I mean, we'll be back next week. Hopefully there'll be some news. It's been kind of busy week so far. Been kind of weird.
Christmas. Christmas. Nate, closing thoughts.
Not too much. Merry Christmas, everyone. We'll see you guys next week.
Well, where's your cane and your hat and your beard?
Huh?
Me or him?
I'm looking for his Scrooge attire. Like,
Nah, he was good today. He was good.
just hold on a minute. Beard. Never mind. Have a great one, guys. Right here, False and Talking Halos. Have a good one.